Gunpowder kegs are a staple in Sea of Thieves, but most pirates nowadays stick to the rule, leave all kegs behind. But we're not most pirates. We're going to take advantage of Season 9's new Black Powder Captain's Voyages, visit every fort in the Sea of Thieves, and collect as many kegs as we can, while also the prizes of these new voyages, the Stronghold Gunpowder Barrel and the Athena Keg of Ancient Black Powder. Oh, and try not to blow up in the process. Like that. First step is purchasing the voyages from the shipwright. They cost 50 doubloons apiece, or 250 for a stack of 5. And since I didn't know how many it was going to take for our goal, I filled up on them. Now, I thought about raising an emissary flag for some extra pocket money, but considering the risk of a Reaper ship knowing where I was and me being only one snipe away from a bad time, I decided against it. A quick vote at the captain's table, and we began our adventure on the seas, with our first destination being Shark Fin Camp. And when I arrived at the fort, I had another decision to make. Do I just focus on the buried kegs, or do I also look to grab everything that was going to be just hanging around each fort? And if you're going to do something silly like this, you gotta go big, right? So I started stacking them all, and that was a good call in hindsight, since what I didn't know was that the buried items could also be firebomb crates or even fireworks. One of the last treasures that I dug up on this fort was a Stronghold Gunpowder Barrel. These bad boys sell for around 3 to 5k a pop, even more with a merchant emissary, but are evil when they're in the hands of an enemy who knows how to use them. So of course I brought it on board too. Now, the million-dollar question: can we safely harpoon kegs with the updates made in Season 9? Yes. For better or worse, depending on how devious you are, kegs can be harpooned without fear of exploding. You'll still want to be careful about where you put your kegs on your ship though. I do not recommend the mast. Instead, I used the bowsprit to begin our stack. It wasn't until we reached our second destination that we hit the jackpot, an Athena's Keg of Ancient Black Powder. And for me, these missions were now so worth it. Before Season 9, the only guaranteed way to get these kegs were through the Athena's Run on Thieves Haven mission, the last mission of an Athena emissary quest, or through Forts of Fortune. These were all pretty visible events, especially if you were flying an Athena emissary as well. So getting a chance at these kegs without having to worry nearly as much about other players was amazing. Knowing how rare an opportunity this was, I headed for the nearest outpost, which was Daggertooth. There, I checked my commendations for the explosive loot of Legends, where I found I was 10 shy of reaching grade 5 and unlocking the Ghost Pocket Watch and Ghost Wheel cosmetics. So right there, I found my cap. I was gonna keep stacking kegs until I had sold 10 Athena's kegs. But there were still dangers to be worried about. First, the storm. An annoyance sailing through it on an average day, trying to sail through it with these kegs on board would be a disaster. Lightning and kegs don't mix, and it already feels like the lightning loves to strike me in general. But if we kept our distance, we'd be fine. The next major danger would be Megs. Season 9 has brought the Megalodon back in a big way, and while I'm normally happy seeing Megs back so I can get my milestones ranked up, this was not one of those days. Because a recent update to the game has Rare made it so that gunpowder barrels will now explode on contact with an attack from ghost ships, kraken tentacles, and yes, meg bites. So the only thing to do in this situation is sail fast to the nearest island, and if the meg is gonna attack, turn the ship away and pray. Skeleton ships though are brutal. There's no rhyme or reason to their spawning, so you've just always got to be on alert for that sound cue. And if you don't take out the gunner on their cannon fast enough, you are in grave danger. For an even better way than what I'm showing you right here, you should firebomb the ship as soon as possible so that the skellies are always taking damage. There were a couple of times throughout that adventure where there were some definite jaw-clenching moments watching cannonballs either sail past or hit super close to the kegs. Like that. Lastly, and possibly the most dangerous of them all, other players. I had to constantly be looking at my surroundings for other players. Not because I had loot, but because I know the temptation that would be in front of them, because I feel it too. How could you not want to send a single shot into a stack of gunpowder kegs and watch the explosion with a smile on your face? I know. Trust me, which is why I had to stay away. The closest call came heading to Galleon's Grave Outpost when I turned around a rock and saw a sloop sitting right at the dock. If that player had been on board and paying attention, they would have had the opportunity for quite a fireworks show. But there were some great moments too, like that one time I stumbled across a Fort of Fortune that hadn't finished being looted. Looks like whoever had done this fort had only wanted the Chest of Fortune and the Chest of Legends, leaving everything else behind. I was dumbfounded, at least for a minute, before the greed kicked in. So of course, I made my way to the nearest outpost to sell it. I wasn't just gonna leave it there again. It needed a home, and I needed gold. And by the time I had turned in the 10th Athena's keg, there was quite the stack of goodies on board. We had dug up 34 firebomb crates, with a total of 460 firebombs between them. There were a total of 48 firework crates, practically all Athena, with 276 fireworks in them. Those items we could sell without issue. But what were we going to do with our gunpowder barrels? All 255 of them that we had gathered up over the 10.5 hours of adventure. I invited friend and subscriber Lee Cross to the server, and together we started to place our kegs all throughout New Golden Sands. With the 5th anniversary celebration underway, I thought it was the perfect opportunity to put a cap on my 5th year of playing this game. It was a slow process as we decked out the outpost, constantly looking out for other players who may have wanted to use the dock themselves. If you can't resist a ship of kegs, how are you going to resist something like this, am I right? We were at it for over an hour when the storm was here.
Oh no!
I could not believe it. I sat there, just soaking it all in, listening to the sound of the kegs exploding all around me, unable to see it. Luckily, Lee Cross managed to catch a little bit of it, and it did look glorious.
Get son of a...
Surprisingly, we still had 50 some odd kegs left from all of that still on the ship, so we used them for a different photo opportunity, this time with the anniversary wall.
Here we go. Here we go.
And lastly, we said a goodnight to the Bardcore beauty with a fiery round of applause. Things didn't go according to plan, but at least we turned in our Athena kegs and I'll finally be able to buy my ghost wheel, right? Right? Ah well, better luck next time. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next adventure, this is Jon Bardcore signing out, saying so long and take care.